Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim Gugabe. How you doing?
Hey, yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Not bad. Just all these like fight changes that keep happening. It's this is chaos. I kind of like it. It's fucking hilarious how we just have like I think last week like 3 or 4 fights just completely changed midweek.
Yeah, well, even this week we've had Shara's had two opponents now. It's been a few.
Yeah,
Happens.
just chaos, yeah. We won't recap much of last car, but we can just go through a few. Trevin Jones and Dobson both getting big upsets. That was pretty funny.
Dobson was hilarious. I kind of felt bad. Actually, Valiev was looking pretty good against Jones.
Yeah, that one was more like honestly, Valiev probably nearly justified his line. Like I feel like he generally wins that fight, you know. And then
And the
the
wrestling,
Dobson, yeah, go on.
Valiev, if he decided to wrestle, he probably would have covered it anyway. But even striking, he looked like Mars 300.
Yeah. That was just kind of shit happening type of thing. This is MMA type of result where I feel like I'm not going to try to act like I thought Dobson was going to win, but when I see a minus, I looked into the fight a little bit, but not really. Just because when a line's that big, I'm just like I doubt I'm playing this. But whenever I saw like minus 1200 or whatever, I was just kind of surprised considering the hole in the ground game we saw of Agapova against Cortez. Like, I'm not saying I thought Dotson would take advantage of that, but when the fight's low level enough, just one girl could happen to win on the mat type of thing. But like, I was a little surprised by the line. I still thought Agapova was going to win, but like, if you would have told me that she closed at minus, like if you would have asked me, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago, what would this line close at, and I had never seen the openers, I would have thought Agapova like minus 400 or something. Like I just thought 1500 was very wide.
Yeah, same. Like I chucked a little bit on Dobson at plus 1000 at the last minute, just pretty much because of grappling. I was
Yeah.
like, for minus 1000, you need to have no holes, and Cortez Agapova showed a pretty clear hole. Like I wasn't expecting Dobson to win like that. I do think
Oh no,
Agapova.
yeah.
I
You're
do
more
think
supposed that
Agapova
that shit
probably
happening.
was bonus hunting.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like Agapova, who's taking it a bit more calmly and not trying to get a performance of the night bonus, probably wins that at minus 300.
yeah. Maybe, yeah. That could definitely be possible.
But because for whatever reason, she seems to have decided she was going to get rid of Dobson in 2 minutes, whether it killed her or not.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what happened.
it's like yeah. It's just one of those things where you don't even know if Dobson can take advantage of it, but the potential of just anyone taking advantage of it is there. So minus 1500. It's like Joanna Jędrzejczyk, you know you can't. Dobson wouldn't be able to take advantage of a ground game, right? So like a big line like that would make more sense because we know that grappling Jędrzejczyk is pretty much a non-existent win condition, right? Where this was at least possible. It was just like them sloppily scrambling on the mat and Dobson happening to like kind of take the advantage. But it was fun. Yeah, Agapova gassed herself out, I feel.
Yeah, it was hilarious, and it's always good to see that. Like I had a plus 1000, so I'm not bitching, but I don't know, it was just funny to see that big a favorite lose.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's what you get for playing chalk.
Yeah. The other I'll just mention like two more and then we'll talk about Edgar Munhoz and we'll move on. We'll just keep this quick. But Lamas really improved her cardio. I was afraid of that. I thought the whole fight was going to come down to the cardio, so I didn't touch anything. I played a little bit on not Lamos inside the distance. She dropped Mizuki at one point, but I think generally she won't get a finish there just because the sub I don't think was there for her. But Lamos looked a lot better than I feel like in her previous fights. Her cardio looked good.
It wasn't the cardio was better because she suddenly showed a lot more restraint and volume. Her work rate was solid. She probably was losing minutes to Noe a bit there just because Noe was cage pushing for most of it, but She made the most of when she decided to do things. She measures herself well. Like she fought like a very Figueiredo fight. Like I know she's out of the same camp.
Yeah.
And like it works for her because she's athletic enough and all that to take advantage of those bursts. But just it was considering that she's historically just been 5 minutes of aggression and leg and wildness.
Yeah.
It was a big change, but it's like also like was there anything on tape to indicate that was going to happen?
Oh yeah, and that's what I agree on. Like it's just I didn't know how you could know that. If you would have told me before that her cardio was gonna and that she was gonna kind of fight measured, then I would have been like, okay, like then she is probably gonna win. But I had no idea what was gonna happen, and the time she gassed against Leslie Smith was so long ago that I didn't really know what to expect. But she hit a lot harder than Mizuki. I feel like that was a big difference because like the actual numbers were semi-close. I think Mizuki actually may have had an advantage. I can't remember, but I thought Lemos rightfully got the decision.
Yeah, well, she definitely rightfully got the decision. The way I view it was just like Gano was kind of cage pushing. Lemos had the big moments, but again, it's just like how could you realistically see Lemos improving a bunch and like okay, even the Granger fight was like the Granger fight you got to take down 3 minutes in, grappled a bit and got a sub. It wasn't like
And that sub
how
was
could you predict
that sub because I don't know. I feel like her inside the distance line was a little like I know she hurt Mizuki at one point, but I still think her putting out Mizuki with standing strikes is still going to be very difficult to do. But like her sub, like there's no like if you just watched them when they were actually on the mat, she was not subbing Mizuki. Like it would have been very, very fluky, I feel. And I just felt like that Granger sub, like she got a rear naked choke with essentially no hooks in. And it wasn't like I think it was more so of Granger being a little low level than Lemos being like an excellent submission grappler.
awkwardly wedged into the cage so she couldn't turn around.
Yeah.
Like honestly, that was my grade. It was like I feel like if Granger wasn't against the cage there, that rear naked choke doesn't hit because she just turned into it, but she kind of got like caught.
Yeah, that too. But I did like the way, like I thought Lemos looked pretty solid in this fight, though. Just
Definitely.
Yeah, like I was. She hits hard. She's fast too. So yeah, I'll give it to her.
Yeah.
But Daniel Rodriguez Grant, that was kind of fun until just yeah, Grant hurt him. Then I feel like Grant was always going to be a little KO or bust there, and he hits hard. But whatever. Rodriguez came back and knocked him out.
Yeah, I had the under and Grant KO. The under opened at like plus 160. Honestly, my question was going to be tempo, but like once Grant got a knockdown, obviously the tempo just went nuts. But like first minute or two was kind of relaxed. Yeah, they weren't doing much before the first knockdown. Then once Grant got a knockdown, it was just like he dumped his gas tank, trying to finish. Rodriguez is decent.
He's decent. That middle class welterweight. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Like he's now won like his 3 coin flips in a row, so he'll randomly be minus 300 against somebody decent.
Yeah,
that's kind of my view on where Rodriguez will be. Like Rodriguez will fight, I don't know, Muhammad or like Zaleski or something, and randomly be minus 300, and I'll be like, all right, I'll take that.
Probably won't be that wide, but I could see him. His line I could see him being a little overvalued just in general in the future. But yeah, I still think he's pretty good. It's just I see what you're saying.
He's not bad. He's just a high volatility, swingy.
True. Yeah, for sure. Selecki Hubbard. Nice sub by Selecki. The whole fight was going to be decided not only on the back take, but the standing back take. Because Hubbard, like I literally talked about this in my breakdown, and this is why I said I have no idea who's going to win. Hubbard always gets to that position, and it was just a matter of like, I hadn't seen Selecki in that standing body triangle back take position that often, so I really didn't know what to expect. So, like when it got there, I was kind of like, okay, let's see what happens. Then he happened to get the sub. If Hubbard had escaped it, who knows how the fight would have gone? I don't really know. I just feel like that was the position that was always going to decide the fight.
Like it's like his striking look improved, which I liked. His defense striking particularly. That was probably the main takeaway I had. But like, just nice Grank. Yeah, good sub.
Yeah.
Still not really on the Selecki bandwagon, but yeah, it looks okay.
Yeah, I need to see more personally. I'm not there yet. I do like his process though. That I like grapplers who go for back takes. I think it's a good process, but I still want to see him a little more. But I mean, wasn't a bad win, so good on him. Edgar Munhoz. This was kind of the fight I was like. We talked about the fight, and I was a little. It was kind of like Will Edgar's durability there, and then whenever I like researched it more on my breakdowns, I was like, I pretty much. I thought it was just going to be very scrappy, and I thought Edgar's chin was getting a little overblown. But at the same time, if someone was going to randomly die, it was going to be Edgar. So I favored Munhoz, and if it went to the decision, I expected it to be close. But I kind of was leaning it playing out for a while, so kind of got the fight I expected. But it's always tough guessing durability, right?
Yeah, I had a bit of Munhoz RTD because I was just figuring if it went to the decision, I felt it would also be close.
Yeah.
Again, Edgar's you kind of punting Edgar's form in a lot of ways because it's first time bantamweight. He's what 39ish, 39,
Yeah.
38.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, honestly, if someone who's bet Edgar a lot of times recently, it kind of annoyed me because I think that Edgar beats Korean Zombie pretty easily if he doesn't get wiped inside a minute.
I have to think about it, but I just kind of
sucks.
I just kind of thought Edgar, like, the way I saw it was he had we have 4 recent fights, right? Against Swanson and Holloway. I feel like that Edgar competes with Munhoz just fine. And then I do think, even if you don't like Zombie, I do think he hits hard. So it just is what it is. And then Ortega, it was just kind of like a freakish little like elbow type of, you know what I mean? And like Ortega, I'm not a fan of Ortega. I think he was very overrated going into that Holloway fight, but I do think he hits hard, you know? Like, he's not a light hitter. And I just kind of thought, I don't know. I generally lean. It's like, and those are the only times Edgar had ever been finished. I kind of thought maybe he was getting a little overblown. And a lot of Munhoz's finishes, this was like the main observation I had going in. A lot of his finishes have been like club and sub or kind of pressure, and then you kind of panic. And you can't really like gas out Edgar or make him panic in a way. Like, it's not like Munhoz has been one shot killing people except Garbrandt, but that was like a stupid exchange type of thing. So that's kind of the way I felt. But if Edgar had gotten murdered, you know, on the first exchange, I wouldn't have been surprised either. But I just kind of leaned for Edgar surviving.
Yeah, my thing was also the leg kicks and all that. Like, leg kicks still were definitely there.
Yeah.
I thought Munhoz would be a bit more reliable with them. How
Yeah.
did he end up? He definitely hobbled Edgar with it. I felt Munhoz probably deserved the decision. Like, it wasn't a insane robbery, but I still felt Munhoz just kind of generally did more damage.
Yeah, the way I thought it was going to be a split going in. I scored it for Munhoz, but it was like there were 2 rounds I scored for Edgar, and I thought Edgar won though. So like whenever you get into that territory, it's just going to be close. So it wasn't a robbery, but I tended to probably lean Munhoz a little bit on the decision, but just is what it is.
I'm kind of surprised. Like, Munhoz only threw 52 leg kicks, which is what, 2 a minute? Yeah, 2 a minute. Yeah. I thought he would put up like probably like 3 or 4 a minute, just based off his historical sort of tempo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, against Aljamain threw almost as many. Against Munhoz Johns is a bit weird because John spent like the round 3 under control. But again, like, Munhoz is just an incredibly attritive fighter historically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I also think Edgar landed some clean head strikes, and I generally think judges go head strikes over leg kicks, but you never know. The judges can be thinking different things that night, type of thing, but it just is what it is. If this fight would have gotten scored for Munhoz, I wouldn't have been surprised either.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I going into the season, I probably had it like Munhoz like 80%, 90% in my sort of calibration. But like, yeah, it wasn't like Edgar winning was a ridiculous decision.
Yeah. I thought it was more like 60-40, 65-35 Munhoz, but I hear you. Okay, let's talk about the upcoming card. A few fights that I need to look into a little more, but I know everyone, and I've taped hard on like half the fights, so let's go into it. Brady and Aguilera, what do you think here?
Oh god. If Aguilera again, my view of this is minus 400 only makes sense. If Aguilera's takedown defense, grappling defense is bad, and like there just isn't tape of it, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a punt and say he's not Fabricio Werdum, but I also like there's no like indication he's a turtle off his back, like an actual tape, and also that Brady will actually try wrestling. Because like if Brady tries striking with him, I think Brady's a little bit chinny, and like Aguilera will come for you. Like Aguilera's quite good at manufacturing knockouts. But yeah, if Brady wrestles, I think that he can probably justify the line. But if he doesn't, I think like Aguilera's probably volume. Like Aguilera round one at plus 1225 is probably worth a swing. Like Aguilera does come for you. Like anything else aside, he does come for you.
Yeah, I need to look into Aguilera more because I'm just blanking. There's been a lot of these like random regionals who've got like I remember didn't he fight on the Marab card? Didn't he upset someone or he beat Anthony?
Yeah, Ivy.
Okay, yeah. I remember the fight. I just need to look on him a little more. I generally like Brady's kind of like high offensive nature, whether it's like with strikes or wrestling. Like at least he is offensive minded.
I
So I
kind of
don't.
like the under here.
I just don't know enough about Aguilera. I need to just kind of look into him to see what's going on.
There just isn't much. Like honestly, for the Ivy fight, there's like 3 minutes of
I
Aguilera grappling in like a 15-year career.
Yeah,
It just
yeah. I
doesn't
just need to
exist.
look more. Well, what's his game? Isn't he kind of just like a? I remember him just kind of being like a freestyle fighter. He kind of just goes where the fight goes.
Remember Justin Jones?
Yeah,
He is also Justin Jones.
fair enough.
Like honestly, like that's he swings hard. He's tough. He can grapple okay in top position. There's just not much tape of him like defending positional grappling.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, if there was tape of him looking bad, defending positional grappling, I'd be like, oh, fair enough, line makes sense. If there was like tape of him getting up consistently, I'd be like, all right, lines off. At the moment, it's just like question mark. I think the under's probably a decent shot here too.
yeah,
But even then, like if Brady's decides he's getting Algeo, Aguilera, it's also quite live.
yeah. Fair enough. I'll look into it a little more. Emily Whitmire and Polyana Viana for the strawweight belt. What do you think here?
I actually lean Viana. I just think Viana's game is a bit better in places. She's just an idiot. Whilst Whitmire is also an idiot, but just not as good as Viana. Again, I'm not massive on this. I think there's some value in Viana sub and a little bit of value in Viana money line. I think he's got plus 130-ish. Not married to it. I just think Viana's generally a little bit better, and also people are being a bit stupid about the Machado loss. And the Machado loss was it was a side control bottom armbar. Like, I mean, I actually didn't mind Viana's process to start that fight. And I bet on Machado. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll brush up on this fight. Like I know both girls' games, but my initial instincts was that it was going to be a split decision. But it's funny. Like I saw that the fight doesn't go to decision. It's plus 105. So like, that's very uncommon for a women's MMA fight. For the most part. So I do like that Whitmire will go for takedowns a little bit. I just feel like a guard sub or something dumb's gonna happen on one end.
Yeah,
And then I feel like the striking will be like somewhat kind of competitive, and I'll look into their ground games a little more. I don't know. I just feel like it will be kind of close on initial thoughts.
pretty much. I just think there's just a little bit more upside than what Viana does. But again, like I'm not married to it.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't have strong opinions on a fight like this, but
Coward.
All right. Well, if you want to max bet Viana, go ahead. Chirico and Zach Cummings. What do you think here?
I don't have strong opinions on fights like this.
Yeah.
Is that Cummings sub plus 700 maybe? Like Cummings is generally aggressive and dangerous on the ground. I'm not a huge fan of Chirico's grappling defense, but
I think Chirico has pretty good grappling defense. Like I don't know. Like I remember it being pretty good.
I remember his takedown defense isn't bad, but I wasn't a huge fan of some of his submission defense, just from memory.
I have to. Okay.
I was gonna apply Chirico plus like 110. I did it for a little bit, but just didn't really add much to it. I don't think this is gonna be a split decision, really. I think Cummings is a bit more dangerous. Chirico is a bit more practical, but like Chirico is kind of like work ready. Like he kind of threw away the Miradov fight. Like he did better work. He did the better work against Miradov. He just didn't do much.
Yeah, they both have some work rate issues. I feel. I feel. Yeah. I kind of just feel like it would be kind of low volume. And neither guy will get a ton of grappling going. I actually think if someone gets offensive grappling, I kind of, you wouldn't think this, but I kind of think Algeo could maybe get a few takedowns occasionally. I like his grappling defense, his wrestling defense specifically, a little more. So I lean him a little bit, but this is still like, it's going to just come down to like who has a few better moments in a couple rounds, right? I think it'll just kind of be random on who wins, but I tend to think Algeo will win, but it's not like I'm not playing it or anything. It's probably a close fight.
The Gugabe and Coward podcast.
I mean, like look at these fucking. It's John Brady minus 400. It's Emily Whitmire and Viana in a closely lined fight, and Algeo and Zach Cummings in a closely lined fight. Like, what do you want us to do? Start yelling at each other and start throwing out max bets all over. Like, what the fuck? What are we supposed to do with that? You know?
Mate, it's max bet season. Come on.
All right. Well, we'll get some hot takes hopefully later on the podcast, and we have them from time to time on these shows. So
yeah, I'm just looking at this. I don't have any hot takes in me, and usually I'm the hot take one.
Yeah, well, it's just like it's been. I've had less plays than usual in the last few cards because I just feel like we're getting a lot of half the cards are kind of like TNC cards where it's just a lot of debutantes, a lot of short notice and people we haven't really seen, or just kind of some lower level fighters type of thing. Which I mean, it's still fun to like watch and see if there's any opportunities, but it doesn't always provide for the best betting spots, if that makes sense. So that's kind of because there's more unknowns. So
it might be it does, like just personally stylistically, it doesn't because you get those occasional spots where everybody's like way off on a regional guy.
Yeah,
but even then, there hasn't been really any of those lately.
There can be, but there can also just be a ton of question marks. Like we haven't even seen this person grapple or something, right? So it's just a little difficult at times. I do think there's a lot more in the next few cards. Like there's a lot more kind of established fighters and things like that, but there'll probably be a bunch of pullouts, and then we'll get your, Justin James versus Christian Aguilera fights or something. But moving on, Hannah Cifers and Mallory Martin. What do you think here?
I think Cifers gets a bit too much shit from people, honestly. Like, yeah, the Hill sub loss or the Hill KO loss is probably the only like grappling defense one I really didn't like from her. And she's a decent kickboxer. I think plus 250 is probably a bit wide here. Like, even against Dern, I did actually like Cifers' approach against Dern. Like, she was quite intelligent with stopping takedowns, and like I had a bit of Dern's sub, and before Dern randomly got the leg lock, I wasn't feeling especially confident in it. But if Martin can get takedowns, there's a decent chance he gets a sub. But I don't know. I've got a feeling Cifers makes this interesting. Like I'd definitely rather be on Martin sub than Martin moneyline. At minus 300, Martin moneyline's dumb.
Yeah, Dern, Barber, and some of those ground games where she kind of got beat up like bad on the mat or subbed or whatever, I feel like they're a little inapplicable here because say what you want about Macy Barber, she hits fucking hard and she has like pretty pretty ruthless ground and pound, especially for a 125-pound woman or whatever she is now. And Dern's a Dern, so I don't really fault her for that. So the two fights I really focused on looking at Cifers is kind of grappling defense was and just like what happens when she gets there is Hill, which I didn't really like, but at the same time, I do think Hill is a little underrated as a grappler when she gets on top. You could, even in Invicta, she got the better of Souza in moments on the mat. So I looked at Escobar, that fight, and Cifers has like decent first layer takedown defense. She defends at 66%. So I do think she'll stop like a few takedowns here, but I was really, because Martin averages like 6 to 7, takedowns per 15 minutes. I do expect Martin to probably get some, just because, like, wouldn't you too? If Martin shoots 6 to 7 takedowns, you expect her to get a couple, right?
Yeah, eventually gets like a sweep or something weird. Yeah, she eventually ends up on top somehow.
Yeah, so like because of that, I was just kind of looking at what happens when Cifers is on the mat. And against Escobar, she didn't really have get-ups, and the only way she got up was the ref standing them up. And her guard retention looked a lot better in that fight, though. So if she can kind of just minimize, like, I'm just worried about her not being able to get back up. But if she can minimize damage, I think she can keep this close, because I do expect her to stop some takedowns, and I do think she's the better striker. She actually outlanded Angela Hill. Like, her distance striking numbers aren't bad. She outlanded Angela Hill at distance, but she lost to the head, so she like probably got the worst of the exchanges. But I'm just saying she's competent on the feet, and she's better than Martin there. So I do think she could give herself opportunities, but I am worried that she'll probably get stuck on her back. So Martin's the rightful favorite, but the line might be a little too wide, but nothing crazy in my opinion. Probably just passing, but yeah.
I did like Cifers' takedown defense sort of focus against Dern. Honestly, yeah. I felt that she had a very good idea against Dern. Agapova was just kind of whatever. She's kind of got head kicked, and Agapova was like 3 times her size.
Yeah.
So I think Cifers is live here, just on the gut feel sort of thing. Like maybe Martin gets on top of her.
Yeah,
but minus 330, come on. And like Cifers took like round 1 was split against Hill, so she could strike very well for a woman.
And in that Contender Series fight, that one girl, I forget, Desengne or something. I forget her name. I'm thinking of it on the top.
Yeah. She didn't do much for top position, did she? Remember?
Yeah, and that girl landed like over 100 total strikes. So I'm just saying, Cifers should have her opportunities to land in spots. So I could see this getting split decision-y type of thing. I do think, but if you like Martin, I do feel like, I don't know, maybe not anymore, but I just felt like if you like her, just because this could be pretty like binary on the mat, that her inside the distance line could be a decent play, but it's come in a little bit, so probably not. But I think Martin's the rightful favorite, but I do think it's just, I'm not playing her, especially when she's at a striking disadvantage, and her takedowns are okay. They're not amazing though, and yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, I just again, like reiterating the whole Dern point, I did like Cifers' discipline in takedown defense against Dern. Like Dern only subbed her through like a very meme guard pull sort of thing.
Something that Martin won't do, right? Yeah, like a lot of the finishes on the mat on Cifers have been pretty inapplicable, I feel like, against Martin, because like Barber, Agapova was like a club and sub type of thing.
Yeah, standing back takeoff.
Yeah, it all came from the feet, right? And then Barber's, I really feel like her ground and pound's insane. It's just a different type of shit. And she was getting eat up in the clinch in that fight too. And then, yeah, Dern pulling to like a knee bar or whatever she did is totally different. Where I feel like looking at Escobar and Hills, maybe what more you can expect in a fight like this against Martin. And I feel like she'll probably get taken down in spots, defend a few, so we'll give her some standing strike opportunities. But on the mat, I don't like her get-ups, but I thought her guard retention wasn't bad against Escobar. But again, Escobar's not very good, so it is what it is. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, this could easily come down to what mood the ref is, what mood the ref's
Yeah.
in about stand-ups. Honestly, that could just pretty much be the fight.
100% for sure.
Like, I played Esquivel against Cifers, and I remember being pissed off about the ref stand-ups.
Yeah,
They were ridiculous in that fight. Like, Esquivel was getting like top position, and then just got stood up after like 30 seconds of like obviously doing nothing. But like, he had some fights where the refs will give you 4 minutes, and other ones will give you 30 seconds.
Yeah, what do you just to get off topic because I don't have much to say about these first few fights. What's your view on stand-ups in general, or like breaking up cage clinching? What's your view?
Depends on the exact situation. Like sometimes it's kind of an issue where they're both nullifying each other.
Yeah.
But also, like you see the horrific ones where guys are actually in half guard. Like half guard should never happen. It's clinch position where someone's actually like throwing knees, sure. But like if both sides are being negative, I understand it. Again, it's just very situational.
I genuinely am against them. Like because I just feel like it's just being prejudicial to like one art of grappling. And I'm not just saying that as a grappler, but I would say it the other way too. Just think about it. What if like you were striking and someone was, because I feel like a lot of the reasons why they break it up is to force action and because maybe it's boring or something. But if someone was winning like a boring leg kicky outside game where not much action was happening, but that person was winning, it would be really stupid to be like, okay, not enough's happening here. Let's start and guard, right? And like change position. I think that would be dumb too. So I'm not favoring grappling. I'm just saying like I feel like less referee intervention is a good thing because I just feel like it makes the winner more justified because I think it's just kind of crazy taking away top position from someone if they earned it. I don't know. That's kind of where I focus. Like I'm willing to listen to some arguments for standing them up, but I think generally, like I don't like cage clinching breakups either. Like when Usman was doing that to Woodley and Goddard was breaking them up. Like I kind of think it's dumb. It's like they earn that position.
Yeah, I can see your angle. Again, it depends on the situation. Like sometimes I feel like both sides are just kind of broken down.
True.
Also, our viewers should know if you watch Greco-Roman super heavyweights for fun, so your view on sports entertainment is quite different to the civilized world.
I can agree with that, but also like you can watch some really really boring boxing fights, right? You can watch a boring anything, but I agree it's not that fun to watch, but I just feel like it's also kind of it's just like stupid thinking in a way where you're just like, okay, I'm going to penalize you for getting that double leg earlier where you got top position, and now I'm going to put you in a position because it's not like the other person earned to get back up, right? It's I don't know. I feel like you're just penalizing someone and rewarding someone else when that person you're penalizing is the one who actually earned the position, and the person who got taken down should learn how to grapple.
I just wish there was more consistency in how it was applied.
That's fair. Like that's
if it was like a rule where like if I can sustain close guard on you for 30 seconds, like as a stand up, I'd be like, all right.
That's fair.
Like, there's like an actual clock which clicked down and like it was a very clear process.
Yeah.
Sure. The current situation where like sometimes a ref will decide they're staring it up after like 30 seconds, and other times like remember GDR versus Nunes?
Yeah.
And like I remember like Nunes was just holding on for dear life for the last 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've seen fights where this would have been stood up 5 times.
Yeah.
But another, and like the occasional insane stand up where it's like side control or mapped.
Yeah. I think
there needs to be mechanisms to make sure that doesn't happen.
And I think maybe that's kind of where I was like getting at, where at least whenever I say don't stand people up or don't break them, like in my perfect world, that would provide consistency, right? So I'd be fine if you also provided consistency in another way. Like you said, like if you have a minute of closed guard, or if you, I don't know, if you have cage time and you haven't attempted some type of strikes or a takedown in like 30 seconds, and I know that's hard, but like you can do that. You can apply rules. Like there's rules such as stalemates and things and wrestling matches that get applied pretty consistently. So yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid when someone will get top position for 4 minutes and just lay in guard and they never break it up, and then someone will do it and get stood up, 3 times in a round, like Cifers and Escobar was. So.
And particularly sometimes when it's like the person's had to expend a lot of energy to get that takedown.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just that's why I think there should be a consistent rule, because at least the fighters know, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Kasanganay and Pitolo, what do you think here? This fight actually kind of intrigues me a bit.
Pitolo looked pretty solid against Stewart in his approach before the magical guillotine. Kasanganay seems to have tempo and durability, which, that makes you an elite UFC fighter, particularly above welterweight. Like, he's athletic, he comes forward, and he's durable and has good cardio. Like, that's an elite skill set above, like, lightweight.
Yeah.
I feel like Kasanganay kind of wins this with some enthusiasm pushing forward at some point. Like, I think Pitolo probably looks good for 5 minutes, but then, like, Kasanganay just kind of pushes him up against the cage and sits on top of him for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. GTD's decent price, minus 135. Yeah, I like GTD at the current price. Yeah,
I have similar thoughts. Because I kind of like Kasanganay as a prospect. It's just it's just always hard when you've only really had TNC fights, to kind of measure you. It's just a tough barometer to use, I feel. But I liked him in all the fights I've kind of seen. But it's just his quality of competition. Like Anthony Adams is okay, I guess, And I like that he'll mix in takedowns too. Like he has a good mix of just round-winning offense, I feel. I kind of think he's gonna win Kasanganay, but I don't know. I'm hesitant playing a fight like this where I still feel like he's pretty raw and he might be worse than he actually is, just because how it is. Whenever you actually come into the UFC, the competition's different. But at the same time, I don't think Pitolo is necessarily better than like Anthony Adams or anything. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like my thoughts. Like I think Kasanganay would probably win, but it's kind of hard to know.
Yeah, like I'll probably play GTD at some point. Hopefully he keeps improving a bit more. Just I feel like Kasanganay doesn't look like much of a finisher, and he looks durable.
Yeah, I think that's actually probably the better play because they're both pretty tough, and yeah, they're both durable, and it's. I don't think Kasanganay will get a sub or anything, right?
Nothing. Like he kind of goes to them, but I don't think he's like elite at them or anything like that.
Yeah. Like,
and if Pitolo just kind of comes out round one and just puts and just is better than him, it wouldn't massively shock me. But I just have this feeling that like Pitolo might take round one, or round one will be close, and then just Kasanganay just kind of enthusiasms his way to a 29-28. That's just my call on this one. It's not sophisticated. It's just kind of I don't think Kasanganay's great, but just he's got decent attributes, and just enthusiasm and coming forward is going to be worth a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Ankalaev and Cutelaba. I mean, we've talked about this fight like 40 times. I still think Ankalaev is the rightful favorite. Not really interested in the current line because I think they will swing a little bit, but I favor Ankalaev because of his striking defense. Like he actually has striking defense, and Cutelaba doesn't. What about you?
Cutelaba round one at like plus. What's Cutelaba round one plus 600? Probably not terrible. I would play Ankalaev sub if he had like historically gone for them.
He doesn't really go for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it will be there, but like I don't think he has a sub attempt in his career. Like I assume Ankalaev can grapple because he seems to be pretty confident elsewhere. So I assume at some point he's learned how to do a rear naked choke.
He has really he kind of focuses on ground and pound whenever he's on top, like in the regionals, and even you saw that against Delcha as well. If he gets on, they're both tough to take down. Like so, I don't really see.
Yeah, gases and kind of
yeah. But like if I'm just saying if Ankalaev does get on top, right, just from like something stupid happening, he could really fuck up Cutelaba probably. Where I don't think it's the same. Where if Cutelaba gets on top of Ankalaev, I don't think he really can. But I feel like Ankalaev will probably just work back up.
Yeah, fair. Ankalaev sub is plus 1900 on 5 times. Just historically, Cutelaba is subbable, and like I assume Ankalaev is capable of forming a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Again, this is an assumption. Don't quote me on this, but like even I can manage to sub people occasionally, and I'm hardly a plus athlete. Yeah. Again, like the Australian book opens at plus 500, and I was not touching it, but plus 1900, I actually might touch that sub line. Assuming it opens around there. Yeah, line's pretty alright. Like Ankalaev's explosive enough, he probably justify it. And I assume he's gonna come out hard because that's how Ankalaev lives his life. Yeah, that's how Cutelaba
I think Cutelaba will. It's just he could. I know some smart people who think Cutelaba's live because of the volume numbers, but I feel like a lot of Cutelaba's kind of volume has come from some ground and pound one, and he doesn't always have the best distance striking numbers. And it's just the striking defense. It's like if you're going to look at those metrics, that's fine, but the striking defense is literally like 67% striking defense for Ankalaev and 48% for Cutelaba. So why would you look at numbers but not look at that? And I just feel like in a fight like this, striking defense will matter so much. And but like the first fight was kind of just happened quick. I don't think you can take too much from it, but I do think just it does show Ankalaev can land on him. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Cutelaba comes out hard. Like plus 600 round one's probably worth a shot. But I think Ankalaev probably wins the cock measuring contest again. I just don't get why they keep rebooking this. Like, I actually kind of hope that Anthony Smith like blows up or something like that, and Ankalaev Rakic gets booked instead.
That would be awesome. That'd be a great fight.
Like it's a way more interesting fight.
Yeah.
Like I don't particularly care for this. I don't particularly care for Rakic Smith. So like why? Like I'd rather see Smith Cutelaba and Ankalaev Rakic.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. Like I agree.
They both would be closer fights.
I think they're just kind of more interesting too.
Yeah, well, they're just like Rakic and Smith are both these fights are both like wide favorites. Where like I think Smith Cutelaba would legitimately be like plus 140 Smith just off the Glover injury sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Ankalaev Rakic, like that'd also be a close fight. Like it just they would both just be better fights.
Yeah. Agreed. We should yeah, we should try to campaign for that on Twitter. But Algeo and Lamas, what do you think here?
Took some early under at minus 110 just because Algeo seems pretty hittable. Lamas is 30,000 years old and it's getting a bit chinny, and Algeo will swing. And Lamas has just generally historically been a very good finisher. He's just aggressive in every phase.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm not touching any Lamas minus 300 at his age. I remember I did that a few years ago against a guy called Josh Emmett. Like, even like Lamas's losses have all kind of aged very well. Like, if you just look at his losses, like Bektic is the only one which is just like not an elite featherweight. And even Bektic is elite at the game he played Lamas in.
If Bektic actually grapples, he's good. I mean, you kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, remember when he really started forcing grappling against Ige, he was kind of owning type of thing. It's just Bektic isn't a good striker. That's the thing.
Fine offensive striker. He just has chin issues and sort of volume issues. Like if you look, it's like Lamas' recent losses are Qatar, Bektic in a grappling match was a split decision, Emmett, Holloway, Mendez, Aldo.
Yeah,
like that's probably 5 top 10 featherweights ever.
Yeah, I mean his it's definitely aged well. He's lost to a lot of good guys.
Yeah, I do think he might be getting a bit chinny at this point. Like just again, like he got knocked out by Emmett and Qatar, which he got knocked out by Qatar, Emmett, and Mendez, which probably 3 of the biggest hitters in featherweight history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I think he should just annihilate Algeo, but like I feel like it's also large his round gets swung on.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you think? What does Algeo do again? I'm taping this fight after this. I remember his fight with Lofnane. Isn't he kind of just like a scrappy striker?
Yeah, he comes forward, throws hooks, doesn't check leg kicks.
Yeah.
Not particularly good cardio, just kind of comes at you.
Okay, fair enough.
Like he's fine, but yeah, like I don't know. He just no, when I was watching his tape, nothing was like, fuck yeah, this guy's good. Like his win condition here is probably just randomly clipping Lamas inside around.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I just can't see much else.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look into it.
Lamas like ages horrifically overnight kind of deal.
Yep. Grasso and Kim. I tend to think the line is a little wide here. I'm fine with Grasso being a bit of a favorite, but I just feel like people are kind of maybe overrating Grasso a little bit by beating up Carolina. I mean, if you look at what Zhao Nanyan did to Carolina as well, I just feel like Carolina's kind of fallen off a cliff. Kim's not bad. I feel like she's tough. She's come forward, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like it will be like a somewhat scrappy fight. Both girls can put up volume. Both girls have, I don't know, like both girls have decent striking defense numbers. Like I don't know. I just feel like it will be kind of competitive. And I'm not willing, and I think it's going to go to decision too. So it's just like Grasso minus 320 in a fight that probably goes to the cards. You know, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're getting a volume striking, split decision kind of a deal. Kim's a bit bigger, 6-inch reach advantage.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Grasso, Grasso probably would have the upside if she felt like grappling, but I don't think Grasso will. Like proactively. I think Grasso they just kind of have a swinging match and they throw 500 billion strikes and we have a split decision. Like I think Kim should definitely be close to like plus 150.
Yeah, like neither of these girls land takedowns. It's 0.19 takedowns per 15 for Grasso and literally 0 for Kim. So I just feel like it will be on the feet, and it's just.
Yeah, I think Grasso probably a little bit busier historically, but Kim I think hits harder and that you obviously reach in the sort of height. I think she might be a bit bigger as a person.
Yeah.
And just generally, there is an ethos in Korean combat sports of being a hard motherfucker.
Yeah.
There's actually I've actually read this thing which is actually arguing that like they essentially don't train defense, so the ones who actually succeed in Korea tend to just have crazy chins. I'm not joking, like Taekwondo and all that, they just don't believe in it.
Yeah. That's fucking
stupid. Name one non-durable Korean fighter.
Yeah, I can't really think of one.
They just don't exist. Like every Korean fighter is just insane. It's just insane offense.
Is Dong-Young Kim Korean?
Yeah, even he was fairly tough historically.
Fairly tough, yeah. He's been put out.
Yeah, he's taken some beatings. Yeah, it was like saying, Doohoo Choi's been put out. Every time Doohoo Choi's been put out, like I'm not saying they can't be knocked unconscious. I'm just saying they tend to have insane wars and need a lot of stopping.
Yeah, I mean, he's only been knocked out 2 times. It was a flying knee to Carlos Condit and a knockout to Tyron Woodley, so fair enough.
And the Woodley one was fucking mad. It was like a massive shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a massive shot. That was a while ago.
What happened to him? He's still fighting 3 years ago since Covington. Always
Covington dominated him.
He did, but like I used to enjoy Dong-Hyung.
I'm not saying anything about his durability. I'm just speaking in general there.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're a Korean wrestler and go against a real wrestler, I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, but back to Grasso Kim, I just kind of think I probably favor Grasso a little bit, but I just feel like in a women's MMA striking fight, and Kim's tough, I just feel like it will, and it's going to probably go to the cards. I don't know. It's like fight goes to decision is at a similar price as Grasso money line. So wouldn't you rather have Kim by decision than Grasso inside the distance? I mean, I would by a wide margin too. So that's kind of my thoughts on that.
I agree. And also, like, Grasso's historically, I feel just the market seems to love her for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, against Esparza, she closes a fair favourite. Against Carolina, she closes a fair favourite. Like, it made sense in hindsight, but also Carolina was cut. It wasn't, like, confirmed Carolina was a punching bag at that point.
Yeah.
She opened the evens versus Suarez. She closed at plus 450, but she opened the evens.
I think that was before people realized how good Suarez was.
Yeah, look at the line curve for that on Best Fight Odds.
When Suarez is going to come back? It's been over a year now. Like, what? I never pay attention to injuries. It's just not my thing. What happened to her? Is it her neck or something?
Yeah, neck or spine or something. I think she's fighting Ponzinibbio.
Wait, really?
Of course, mate. Ponzinibbio.
No. Did you say she was training with Ponzinibbio?
No, it's like she's fighting Ponzinibbio.
Oh my God. I thought you meant she trained with him and got hurt. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
And Thomas Almeida. They all live in their farm upstate.
Do they? Like I rarely know about injuries, or I don't even always know about training camps.
These people are just people who don't fight. It's just this whole thing. Like, Ponzinibbio hasn't fought since like 2017, and like Thomas Almeida just doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I'm like, dude, I am not with it in the last 2 minutes. Like, I'm a moron. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's been a while, especially Ponzinibbio. I don't know, but they haven't fought for fucking ever. But I just want Suarez to come back because I really want her to fight Zhang.
You're getting max bet Zhang, aren't you?
No, I'm going to play Suarez though. Like, I'll just say that right now. I'm going to play Suarez if she fights Zhang.
How dare you doubt Zhang? Zhang is an elite prospect.
Are we going to get Suarez at dog odds in that? Like, I've always wondered. I think so. I mean,
China money is, I'm just based on the sheer amount of money which hit Zhang last time. Like, China money could just be crazy. It could just be like Mayweather. It could just be like Conor McGregor level money.
There's smart money that comes in on Suarez though, so it's like, I don't know. That'll be interesting.
Smart money hit Joanna and didn't really change anything.
Yeah, it's going to be a competitive line regardless, just because of champion. Like, when you have a belt, lines get dumb. Because it's like a belt. People are going to disagree, but a belt shouldn't really affect the betting line. It's just like, how do they match up? Because if you think about it, a belt's just like really just a made up thing by the UFC. Like, a belt doesn't really have any. If it shouldn't have an impact on who's going to beat who in a fight, right?
Yeah.
So, but like it factors into betting lines, and that's why champions are almost always favorites. It's rare for them to be underdogs. It's only happened a couple times, but yeah, I don't know. Suarez needs to come back, but yeah, I don't have much to say about Grasso, Kim, Magny, and Lawler. What do you think here?
Magny kind of enthusiasms him.
Yeah.
Lawler could maybe have a good first round, but like, I think Magny's kind of better striker than Colby at least, and just kind of puts 300 strikes on Lawler.
Yeah, I think I think he'll probably volume him up, and just his size will be a big deal. Lawler didn't look as bad in the first couple rounds against RDA as I originally thought. Like, it's not that he looked good, but for some reason I thought he looked awful. And that was kind of more later in the fight. But and I know Colby's Colby, like, and Colby also pushed a wrestling pace on him, so it's hard to completely draw a ton from it. But even just the way Lawler was striking, I just feel like his power isn't there as much anymore either. It's just like there's, like, if you just go watch that fight, I just felt like his punches just kind of come slow. But I don't know. Anyway, I think Magny will just probably get ahead on the numbers, and he could probably clinch Lawler up at times too, because Lawler puts his back up against the cage. I don't know if Magny will get many takedowns, but just using head position, landing little clinch strikes, and he should probably win a decision.
I think just generally, his last 2 fights, he's shown a lot more sort of fight IQ and distance striking ability too. He's just a lot busier than he used to be. Actually, I do like this war Magny. I think Magny champion is something we need to get our heads around.
I think he's but I do think he's like solid.
Like he's just very durable. He's very long. He throws a bunch of volume, and he's very annoying.
He has good ideas too.
Yeah, like that. It's just things that are difficult to deal with. Like he probably struggles against like the absolute top echelon, but I think there's just people he can get the stupid split decision out of.
Yeah,
like
if
top.
Go on.
Like I'd give Magny a shot against Burns. I'd give him a shot against Masvidal. I'd give him a shot against Woodley. Even like Thompson or something. Honestly, I could just see Magny winning a very stupid split decision.
I think Magny has a shot against a lot of guys, but I do. If Lawler threw leg kicks here, I think he'd have a better shot. But he's only thrown like 8 in the last 10 rounds, so you can't trust him to do that.
Magny kind of shut down and Tony Martin's leg kicks a lot by just being kind of getting off first and throwing a jab a lot. I felt.
Yeah.
And I think Tony Martin's traditionally been quite a good leg kick specialist, so maybe Magny's kind of helped to solve some of his issues he's got with those.
Yeah. Magny will throw leg kicks and like little teep body kicks to himself as well, and Lawler's pretty prone to that if you just watch the Colby fight.
Just historically, if you've been willing to set a range against Lawler and just give him a fight he doesn't really like, he'll just kind of fade out of it, I feel like.
Yeah.
He's one of these guys who's if you give him his fight, he's pretty good, but if you give him a fight he doesn't like, he'll just kind of go, I can't be fucked.
Yeah. What do you think is a higher chance of happening? Magny inside the distance or Lawler by decision?
Honestly, it depends on Lawler's shotness.
Yeah.
I could see a situation where Lawler just looks fucked, and I think Magny's a bit better of a finisher than Colby is. Particularly lately. Like, the Magny against Lee and Leach and Martin's actually seemed to have some power and actually like put some venom into it.
Yeah.
I could see this being absolutely fucking stupid, like Lombard Magny was. Like,
yeah,
if the Lombard Magny rerun happened, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, I was just saying that because Magny, his money line's minus 235, but goes to decisions minus 215. So, like, technically the odds makers think Lawler's decision chances are lower than Magny inside the distance, where I'm kind of like, I don't know about that. Like, I see what you're saying about the shotness, but Lawler still seems pretty tough.
I've got Magny round 3 or decision at, what I get it at? Minus 130, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like if Magny's doing, I feel like Magny historically hasn't really lost decisions, has he? He's either kind of gotten finished or he's kind of just done enough to win the decision. Like, has he lost?
I think he's only lost inside the distance, and a lot of them were kind of
lost to Seth Bashinki, or fucking pronounce it, in 2013 by decision. That's his only career decision loss.
7 years ago, though. Who cares? Yeah, I feel you.
And like he's kind of run hot on split decisions historically. Johnny Hendricks win was hilarious.
Yeah.
Remember that fight?
Yeah.
Hendricks knocked him down and gets stuck in the triangle choke for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
2 separate rounds.
Yeah.
That was just a great moment.
Yeah, Magny has a good career, man. Like if you really just kind of look at it, he has a ton of wins.
Matt, he's coming for the belt. Magny winning the belt would be that would be a Bisping level achievement in my opinion. It's like a feel good moment for everybody.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It's just Usman and Colby are there.
Magny Colby would be. I think Magny Colby would be fun.
That'd be a really fun fight. I agree. I think that would be very, very fun. I think Usman would just like whoop him on physicality. Yeah.
Is there a fun Usman fight?
Colby.
Even then.
Yeah.
That was kind of depressing because I felt like Colby was kind of doing better, but Usman just kind of won on athleticism.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just but like I don't know. Back to this fight, I still I think Magny should win. don't love that line either, you know. So yeah, I got to think about it. Smith and Rakic, what do you think here?
I kind of like the over at JTD/Rakic's decision if Smith's durability hangs up. Like, he's historically been very hard to finish. And, like, Rakic will hold top position and Smith's kind of hard to stop. And, like, he's very, very, very tough. But also, he could just concoction. He could just, like, 4 months ago, he took, like, a life-ending beating. Like, honestly, what Glover was doing, I feel like that legitimately killed, like, 80% of the human population. What Glover did to him.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's possible, particularly if they got, the orbital injury, like, historically, we've seen a few of those where guys just can't take the shot anymore. But if not, Rakic's decision will be solid, but really just hinges on Smith's durability, whether it still exists. Rakic should just kind of beat him everywhere. I'm very high on Rakic. Yeah.
Yeah, Smith is kind of annoying because he'll have really bad distance striking rounds, and then he'll have some where he actually does well against decent strikers. So that's kind of annoying. I still favor Rakic on the feet in 15 minutes, pretty clearly though. I don't know. Like, my issue is, like, if you want to play in Rakic at his money line, it's just I have trouble playing people as that big of favorites when I haven't seen every position, if that makes sense. And I don't really know how he would defend a back take or something. I don't know really how good his submission grappling is. I've seen him on the mat against Ledet and Barrasso for a little bit, and he looked competent and everything, but I still am worried. Like, if you get your back taken, it's kind of a different position. So that's kind of the main thing. But I do think, I think Rakic could even get takedowns here and land ground and pound too. Yeah, and I think he should probably win, but it does worry me, like, what if his back gets taken type of thing. But I'm not going to play the money line. And I don't really play props all that often. And I'm probably not going to play this, but I do think Rakic by decision at plus 255 is a good line. I don't think he can sub Smith because Rakic isn't really a submission grappler. And Smith is actually, like, fine when it comes to defending submissions. So he kind of needs to knock out Smith, and this is a 3-round fight, and Smith is tough, and he has been knocked out one time inside 3 rounds in the last 7 years against Santos. And even Glover, it was like more so a cardio dump, and it was in the 5th round anyway, right? So
I felt it was more his orbital than anything, honestly. Like, once his orbital went, he just couldn't take a punch.
I think it was that too. Yeah, I think it was a combination of, like, he started off really hard too, kind of got tired, he broke his orbital type of thing, but he's still toughed out. Like, I still think his chances of surviving 3 rounds of not getting knocked out is pretty high. He could get knocked out here. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying the decision line's plus 255 for Rakic, and I think if this goes to the cards, Rakic will probably be up on the cards, right? So yeah. That's just my reasoning. Like, I thought that was more so going to be like, I even kind of like the goes the distance a little bit, but specifically I just like Rakic by decision just because I feel like he's not going to, him subbing Smith would be a little surprising, and him knocking him out, it's like, I don't know. Smith is still very tough. I know he just took a beating, so it could happen again, but you're still getting big underdog money on it. So yeah.
I back your logic there.
Yeah.
And Smith's just talking very tough, and he's just very noodly, and, like, again, Smith is such an inconsistent fighter as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, even pace wise.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes he'll go absolutely ballistic, other times he'll just do not do much, and like, Smith is very consistent.
I know, it's really tough for, like, his fight. You don't even know what the tempo is going to be like. So, I don't know. Yeah, but I think Rakic should probably win, and I think his decision line is probably value. But I don't know anything else on that fight. That's pretty much what my thoughts on the card. It's kind of a whatever card.
I think let's get Smith versus Paul Craig made as soon as possible.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It would. Like,
I've
I was
never
thinking,
even
like, who
thought
would I
of
want to
that.
watch Smith fight?
Yeah.
Like, I think Smith has better things to do with his time than. I think I forgot John Jones vacated. Oh, that's a thing. Like, yeah, I'd rather see Smith against the main light heavyweights. I think he's more fun down there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like him fighting like better fighters. It's just like because it's just like this. It's the same result.
just
It's like
sad.
you're gonna lose or get like a finish. I feel like people on his level, it will be more fun, right?
Yeah, and like also the way he fights means Smith's a very funny fighter to watch, like a specialist fight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Smith Walker would be funny. Smith Span would be funny. Smith Serkinov would be funny. Smith Krylov would be funny. Smith Craig would be funny.
Smith Craig would be amazing.
Yeah, like I just the entire like light heavyweight meme cluster of everybody below like numbers 8 apart from Ankalaev. I think Smith just has fun fights with all those fucking shitty light heavyweights.
Yeah.
Like, I just imagine Smith Krylov.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like, they were just dumb
Give
things
me
that happen.
Smith Johnny Walker too. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, like there's a good chance Walker like hits him like 10 seconds in with something which kills him, but he lingers on and he just wins by triangle choke in like round 3 or something.
Yeah.
Which is, this is just cruelty to our Anthony Smith. And ever since I hit the Ozdemir bet, I've just always appreciated Anthony Smith for his stupid nicheness. And yeah, it's just sad watching him get beaten up by good fighters. Like he's a light heavyweight. Goddammit, there's only 5 good fighters in the division. He has to fight them.
Yeah. It's kind of he needs to get. It's not even a demotion. It's just more. I don't know. I've never understood. Just like imagine if you're an MMA manager. I feel like when people want ranked fighters or people ahead of them, I think I understand at times if you're really trying to get to a title shot, but wouldn't you want to fight like shittier fighters because you get your win bonus, you have less of a chance of getting cut, and you'll get pushed into the higher salary, bracket.
Yeah.
If you keep winning, so it's like, why wouldn't you do what like? Think of someone who's just I don't know, like who's someone who's like on a winning streak and hasn't fought the best competition. I'm trying to think, but just wouldn't you want to go on that route and you take way less damage too, right? So it's like the longevity of your career also increases. I don't get why these fighters are always calling out like killers type of thing.
Like, yeah, I suppose Kamaru Usman thing where you just kind of have boring fights against shitty opposition. Why not?
But who's like I'm just trying to think of someone who has fought just like
Dober
bad.
kind of.
Who?
Dober was for a bit, I guess.
Even here's a good example, and I think he's a good fighter, but I still think he got a lot of lower level fighters to kind of add to his win streak. But Scott Holtzman, he beat Michael McBride, Daryl Horcher, Alan Patrick, lost to Nick Lentz, and then he beat Donghyun Ma and Jim Miller. And it's like, if you look at those matchups, he went 5-1, and you'd probably think he would go in that 4-2, 5-1 range, or something like that in that run. And it's like, look, he made a bunch of money. He got a fight of the night bonus in there as well. He's getting paid more now. He didn't really take any damage at all in those fights. And then he got moved up to Dariush and got knocked the fuck out. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like that would be the smarter move. And I feel like people who go, like, look at Ryan Bader going to Bellator too. If he stayed at light heavyweight, he probably would have ran into like Reyes and Ankalaev or someone and probably would have lost sooner. Instead, he became double champion, and he really only beat like one good guy, like Phil Davis. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, that's the route I would go.
I mean, the
If I'm
thinking of,
I'm saying, yeah.
well, Charles Oliveira is kind of the perfect example of it, isn't it? Technically, the way the UFC pay scale works, performance of the night bonuses are worth so much to a fighter. But it's like, if you go to a shit enough level of competition where you can consistently performance with night them, you're better off than having like close fights.
Yeah.
Like, look
yeah.
at Oliveira. Oliveira's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 finished the night bonus, 12 finished the night bonuses.
Yeah.
If Oliveira had consistently been fighting like top 10 lightweight / featherweights the entire time, without like randomly fighting Jared Gordon and Clay Guida and Christoph Jargos and Jim Miller and Will Brooks and other shitters, he probably would have had way less performance of night bonuses.
Yeah, like if he would have went up to another tier of competition. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And look, he's on a win streak. He got his win and show money and all those performance bonuses. And that's a good point. Like it increases your chances of getting a performance bonus. So your future earnings projection would just go up too. And look, I think the longevity is a big thing. Did he take any damage really in any of those fights? Pretty much no. So
Yeah.
he added, like, he just probably maintained another 3 to 4 years on his career as well. Like, and 3 to 4 good years too of him not being shot. Where, yeah, I don't know. That's just the way I see it. I don't get why some of these fighters were like sit out until they get a top 5 opponent type of thing. Like, I don't know. Anthony Smith should just, going back to that, should not be fighting all these good guys. I just wouldn't take those fights if I was his manager. But
like Oliveira has had 16 off the night bonuses, so he's made more than $1 million in just off the night bonuses.
yeah,
It's insane. And like, there's guys who would be like, I don't know, who's like a lightweight, who's like Ally Quinto or something. He's just kind of hanging in there.
yeah. It's tough though because it's tough if you're a fighter, especially. And it's why they're fighters and we're not. They're just very tough dudes, and they think they can beat anybody. I mean, that's a good thing. Like, you need to think that going into a fight. But as far as like kind of planning things out, that can really hurt you, that mindset, because you're just gonna have. Yeah, like if you understood your weaknesses and understood like betting lines, like there's third parties putting lines on your chances of winning these fights. So I just feel like maybe fighters don't understand that, along with managers. Like, managers probably don't understand betting lines all that much, or what his fighter would be against another fighter in a betting line or something. And so I feel like that's probably a reason why you don't see as many people being smart with planning out their fighters. Like, I don't know, growth, I feel.
Yeah, true. Again, like, they're fighters for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a mean thing to say, but it's just you would just rather see, you know, some of these fighters just, I don't know, make more, maximize their earnings, you know, because it's just a small window of time that you can make money. So
yeah, true.
But,
and yeah, again, like the Oliveira, I guess the alternative to the shit competition thing is if you like get unlucky once or twice, you're cut.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it doesn't have to be that. Weird things happen even if you should be minus 500. You do get zapped every so often.
Yeah, but your chances of getting unlucky are probably, less if you fight worse competition. But I hear you. Yeah, there's a lot of variables in all this shit. But yeah, I don't know. We just got off topic. But yeah, let's talk next week. We can talk about Overeem and Sakai.
Yeah, what's your probably favorite bet of the night? Rakic's decision?
Yeah, I'm still kind of settling because I'm still researching some. That's one that jumps out. And yeah, like, I think Magny's gonna win too. It's just I don't love that line though, so I haven't played it or anything. I'm just gonna see if it improves. What about you?
Yeah, it's about the same. I like Kim, like money line / decision a fair bit. I just think she just makes it a competitive fight. Pickerson's Grasso. Like, Grasso could probably, if Grasso's get covered, it's probably going to mean she has to grapple. I just don't think she's consistently going to try grappling.
Yeah.
Like, in a pure boxing match, I just think Kim is very competitive there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Next week, Overeem Sakai should be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll talk early next week about that card. So
Yep,
I'll see you, man. Have a good one.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.